Okay, Elena, you're up. You're on.
All right. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? We are live. I'm just logging into YouTube so I can see your questions. Today, we have a very slow day because it's Memorial Day in the United States, so the markets are closed, but still, we are going to be looking at what's going on and what has going on from the week open, right? So I'm just going to log into my YouTube account. Just a second. Right here. Perfect. So if you have any questions, again, just type it on the chat. I have it on my other screen. And let's get started. So we had a quite an eventful open this Sunday, or this Monday for most of you, actually, in the sense that there was no gap up, meaningful gap up or down in equities or futures, and on currencies either. But after let me just grab the pound yen. I'm going to use here. But after the open, we had quite a sell-off on the British pound against the US dollar, right? This is what I was looking at. This is the 45-minute chart. Let's go to the 50-minute chart so we can actually see what's going on. This is the gap, the weekend gap, and then we had the pound versus the US dollar selling off, right? This is about 100 pip move to the downside. It's 123 pip move to the downside, almost a 1% move to the downside from high to low, right? Let's see if we can catch the pound at some key levels, right? Hi, SF, how are you? Nice to of having you here. So let's go ahead and let's go to the higher time frames, and let's see if we can actually get a visualization of where the pound is going against the um, mostly the US dollar, right? So we can see that the pound is in a very strong uptrend, right? And still after the bearish move from the highs at around the 135 level to the current levels, which is a very strong up move right here. Down move. This is a 2.55% down move for about 342 pips, right? But we are still in an upstream. Why? Because we haven't made a lower low in the higher time frames, right? If we just take a look at the daily, or the daily will be fine. You can see very clearly that um, the last higher low still stands as the last higher low. So we are still in an uptrend. Now, the reason that just look at this reversal candle on the daily, right? It was pretty obvious that we are going to be going down a little bit after that. Not only that, but I think, yes, we were testing. Oops. Let me just put the correct template here. Actually, I'm going to be using that thicker one. So we were testing a very strong level of resistance, or a key level. Right here, we had the similar price action on the daily, a big rejection, and then a reversal candle. And then, if we look at historic price action for clues on where we might be going, after that reversal candle, that was printed on December 13, 2019, the pound went down about 427 pips, or 3.20%. Now, if we take historic price action as an indicator of where are we going to be going, we could be basically going to test the previous lows, right? Or this previous base in the GBP versus the US dollar. And this is the level that I will be very closely looking. right? Let's just grab some, this is called bar patterns to, and what it does is it just takes that historic price action and puts it on your chart. And as you can see, based on historic price action, we could actually be going to the 130 level, right? Let's put, I mean, and let's leave this line on the 130 level, right? Exactly on the 130 level. Hold on. Because we're going to go to the lower time frames to see what's going on. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. So we have that 140 level, 130 level, okay? Now, this is based on historic price action, so this is not an indicator or where price is actually going. I mean, not no, there's not an indicator that can tell you where price is really going, right? But because what we do is just trade in a cyclical world, in meaning that cycles in price tend to uh, reappear in the market, we can use historic price action as an indicator, but just as an indicator. Now, and I'm not talking about an indicator for executions, just an indicator to see the depth of the current move or the possible depth of the current move, right? So we have the pound versus the US dollar testing the 131.50 level at the moment. So let's draw some lines in and some structures that we might be trading in, right? Maybe for that we need to go to a higher time frames because I want to draw the entire structure to the upside. All right, so this is the first one, and we are going to use the structure, and I'm going to extend the right line. So this is the main structure that we're trading in, right? And if we clone this, let's clone it. Um, if we clone this, you can see that it is the actual structure that we are trading, which is the structure that we retested at the highs right here. Okay, so now that we have this, let's go back to the 4-hour chart. And what I'm doing here, I'm just showing you the way that I personally analyze the markets. I mean, starting with a um, with a naked chart. I'm sorry, starting with a naked chart. This is the way that I analyze the markets. I go from the higher time frames to see the key levels that we have retested and the possible levels that we are going to be retesting for me to be able to look for where am I going to be trying to jump long on the pound versus the US dollar. Now, let's have a look at this. Now, the pattern that was broken with was this one right here, right? I also like to draw the patterns that were broken with because I want to calculate the target, right, of said pattern. So let me just clone this. And if you have any questions, guys, please don't hesitate to ask on the chat. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I don't think I'm going to be taking, I don't think I'm going to be taking trades today since the US market is closed because of Labor Day, right? It's going to be a slow day, very, very sideways day. But still, we need to be prepared for anything that could happen. You know, we don't know if the US dollar is going to rally and the pound versus the US dollar is going to well to test the 130 level. So this is the reversal pattern that that was tested, and I'm sorry, that was broken with. And let's have a look at that last impulse up targets, right? So we are retesting, we are testing right now the first targets of the last impulse up, and the real targets are in confluence with the 130 level. But we can see that also after those big retests here, and this is why the 130 is a key level. When we broke to the upside, this is where we retested 3 times before moving to higher highs. So here is where we saw buyers jumping into the market, into this market particularly, right? But we the last few times we didn't quite test the 130, which is absolutely fine because levels are zones. They are not actual lines in your charts. So this would be my value zone right here. Okay, now I'm gonna get rid of that 161.8 because it's no longer valid. We already broke with it. So we are going to be trying to retest the 261.8. Now, this is the last impulse up. The real last impulse up is from these lows to these highs, right? So I'm going to draw a fib. Let me just grab my crosshair tool to get the real low and the real high to see how much pullback we're talking about. And we're talking about a 50% pullback of the last impulse up, which is something that is not out of the question. So basically, this would be between the 130 and the 130.50 is going to be my buy zone, my value area. And let's go ahead and let's grab historic price action again uh, from this is the move or the pullback from the last year, from the previous impulse. So if we grab it from the high, right, from high to low, I mean, we are trading exactly the same pullback here. So this is going to be the I'm going to be adding an alert here. Um, Pull back over, let's call it that. That's fine. I'm going to be looking that um, for that pullback to that value, to my value zone, which is this one right here that I just showed you, for a long position this week. So basically, this is my play on the pound versus the US dollar, which is something that I was looking at because of how it went down for 120 pips after the open, right? So that's one market that I'm looking at. The pound versus the Swiss franc is another market that I was looking at. Hold on, let me just grab the chart. Now, if you have any questions, just write them on the chat. In YouTube, I'm looking at the chat on YouTube. If you're watching on other social media, I'll try to get to your questions also. But if you have any questions, I mean, you should be asking questions because this is quite the important session, the first session of the week, guys. Now, if you look at the pound versus the Swiss franc, and let's take a look at the pound. No, at the US dollar versus the Swiss franc first, right? Because we have the pound versus the Swiss franc retesting these highs, right? And the last time that we retested these highs, we moved up. Let me see, about 200 pips. So this could be a big winner with a cool risk to reward. Awesome, Fad. Thank you. Thank you for kind words, man. All right, so the last time that we tested the pound versus the Swiss franc at these highs right here, we moved up about 100 what? 200 pips, I said, right? Now I'm gonna get rid of all the drawings because these are all drawings, and then we're going to start from scratch. Now, this is the 4-hour chart on the pound versus the Swiss franc. The pound versus the Swiss franc is not something that I usually trade, but when it's trading this cleanly, I mean, I would trade any market that's trading this cleanly, right? Now, let's have a look at where we are right now. I'm going to use my structure. And this is quite the structure that we're trading in. on the pound versus the Swiss franc. Let's have a look. To the upside, and when you're trading structures, uh, if you see this, this is absolutely fine. This doesn't mean that the structure is no longer valid. All right. This is just an overextended move to the upside, and then we're back inside the structure. What really matters in an up structure is the lower or the let's say the structure support. Why? Because we are in a bullish structure, right? If we make a higher high that's higher than if we make a higher high, that's fine. But if we make a lower low, that would break the structure. The same goes on a bearish structure, but in the opposite side, of course. So this is the 122 to 122.50 is a very strong level of resistance, right, on the daily. Yeah, on the daily, on the 4-hour chart. Let's go to a daily just to have a look at where we're trading at. And yeah, that level, this level is quite strong. This is a very strong level, so I'm going to be using a different color, maybe a red, no, a blue. That's fine. A blue is correct. Why is this such a strong level of resistance or a key level? We can even go back to these lows right here, if you notice. Okay, this is a level that price has swung um, around, and that is holding price down at the moment. Okay. We have a question. Sorry for the GBP USD. It's only based on technicals. Are there fundamentals behind it? No, it's just based on technicals, dude. This is short-term technicals on the pound versus the US dollar. All right, so let's go to a 4-hour chart. But yeah, fundamentally the pound is strong. Okay. I'm not gonna go through fundamentals right now because I want to go through another chart. But yeah, fundamentally speaking, the pound is strong at the moment. So we are looking at a possible what? 170 pip move to the upside. But the thing is that we have the pound. Let's calculate the moves, right? From high to low, the pound versus the Swiss franc has moved. I'm sorry. Let me put it on the chart again. Has moved about 200 pips, all right, or 1.70% or 1.7%. We have 200 pips from high to low on the pound versus the Swiss franc, and on the pound versus the US dollar. Let's see. We have a 343 pip move. So the move of the pound versus the US dollar, the move of the pound versus the US dollar is much stronger than the pound versus the Swiss franc. Let's calculate the pound versus the yen. That's a 300 pip move. Uh, and then let's calculate the pound versus the New Zealand dollar. That's a 300 pip move. All right. So looking at the only 200 pip move to the upside on the pound versus the Swiss franc, let's calculate again. Uh, well, that's fine. Looking at the move on the pound versus the Swiss franc, which is 100 pips less than on the other time frames, than the on the other that on the other crosses, we can speculate that we might get some kind of a reversal here. Now, I have a question. Do you do analysis in lower to higher time frames? No, it's actually higher to lower. I go from the 3-day to daily to 8-hour, 4-hour, sometimes the hourly to get my entries. But yeah, I go from higher to lower. Cool. So right now we are testing this level. I don't mind that this candle looks very, very bearish. I'm not looking to enter this market just yet, right? Why? Because I need some kind of a reversal pattern to form. I need a pattern to form in order for me to get that breakout trade that I look for, right? I am, I mean, entering blindly here long to me is too speculative. I don't do that, right? Um, yeah, so let's continue. Okay, so let's have a look at the current structure that we just broke with. Okay, so let's grab the lines. This one right here. So this is the structure inside the structure that I was looking at. Hold on, let me just get rid of the lines, and I'll clone this one too. Hold on. Okay, so this is the structure inside of the structure that I was looking at, looking like a pitchfork to the upside, which is absolutely fine. I just wanted just wanted to draw this so you could see what I was looking at. Okay, now let's get rid of this, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw the pattern or the reversal pattern that I will be trading. All right, here we go. I'm going to use my pattern template. And let's see if we are actually trading the channel. All right. Yep, we are. And we are actually retesting the lows of that channel. So this looks very much like a bull flag, right? On the 4-hour chart in the pound versus the Swiss franc. But let's have a look at that, at those bearish targets on the flag, because I don't know if you know this, but you can actually calculate, or you should be calculating the last leg of of a three-wave flag, right? And right here we do have it, a 161.8 of the AB impulse being tested at the moment. So this could be the end of that flaggy, or that flaggy. This could be the end of that flag, right at the retest of the 120. 120.02. No, hold on, 120.25 at the 161% retracement of the AB move, right? This is another confirmation of a possible reversal here on the pound versus the Swiss franc. So I will be looking for that reversal. Now, if let's have a look at those pullbacks. We hadn't had that quite that deep of a pullback after an impulse, so I'm going to be taking this as the last impulse up, right? Uh, and I'm going to be looking at that possible. It's not the same, right? So as you see, I mean, I'm taking historic price action from the last impulse, and it's not the same pullback. This is a deeper pullback to the downside, which I mean, and the thing is that we had a quite a the structure here, right? And after we broke it, retested it, we moved to the upside about 200 pips, and now we have erased those gains back to those to that we have erased those gains back to retest the same level, the 120.25, right? So this will be, in fact, the real retest for a long-term long, maybe, and just maybe, a break of that 122 level. Very strong level on the higher time frames, as you remember. Actually, I hate this blue. I'm going to be using a brighter one. All right, very heavy level on the day on the higher time frames right here. So I will be looking for to trade that breakout. Of course, that first that uh, we don't know if price is going to reverse, and or if price is going to break with the 122 if it breaks with the or if it reverses at this level. There's a lot of ifs, right? But if this scenario plays out, I will be trading it, and but I will be definitely taking most of it at this level, right? I see this more as a well, as a midterm trade, right? Uh, More as a midterm trade than a swing trade, and also the slope of this bullish structure is it's not my favorite, in the sense that I don't see it as a very strong bull market. But in any case, this is a great opportunity for a reversal, in my opinion. Let's see if we have Jeff in the room. We do not, people. So I'll continue. Thank you, Lived T. Let's continue with some other markets that might be in play at the moment. No, I don't want to trade. It is right. The pound versus the US dollar continues to it's moved down. Let's have a look at what's going on here, right? It continues to crash, right? Let's go to the hold on, let me just get rid of this line. Let's go to the hourly. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really broken with the daily lows right here. But if it breaks with the daily lows, we might expect a continuation of this move into our buy zone. No, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't trade channels, right? Let me let's go back. I really don't trade channels. I draw them just to visualize uh, the structure that we're trading in, right? And a break of set structure or something like that. But no, I mean, it doesn't matter if it touch, to me at least, it doesn't matter if it touch the or tests the channel, right? We might get some sideways move here to that test, if you know what I mean. But no, I mean, to me, it really doesn't matter. I trade levels, not channels. But if I'm trading a case where price is testing my key level and the channel, that's an even stronger setup for me. But just in that case, right? Another one that I want to talk about was this one right here. The US dollar versus this is fully annotated. Hold on.
You
The
got a
US dollar.
cold, buddy.
Hey, yeah, I know. I have allergies, buddy. How are
Ah,
you,
okay.
man?
Well, you're allergic to the pound
Uh,
falling, right?
yeah, no, I'm not allergic to the pan falling rate. I'm actually hoping for that. No, I mean, uh, I just woke up a few moments ago, and coming from the from the AC in my room to my studio, which
Uh,
uh, which is not cold, gives me allergies. I don't know why, man. I'm super allergic. But yeah, I mean, there's not too many stuff going on, right?
no,
Because
well, bank
uh,
holidays in US and Canada. I don't expect it's going to change too much before tomorrow, mate. I wouldn't think.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, either. I'm actually not looking to to place a trade today unless we see something. Uh, I mean, just because we have bank holidays doesn't mean that. Yeah, no, it really means that we're not gonna get any volume on in the market. But I will be looking for those for that reversal on the pound versus the Swiss franc. It might not happen. I mean, the probability of it happening today is very low, since we're trading two European currencies and we have a bank holiday in the United States. But in any case, this is what I'm looking at, mate. How
What are you looking
about
at?
you? The pound,
Yeah,
this
look,
one, right?
I'm in a back in the buy zone on pound Kiwi. I've been in that from more than a month now, I think. And the
Uh-huh.
big retracement now.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
now getting into a scale-in position is my next thought process. But also bearish the euro. I've actually got a little speculation trade on there at the moment. Looking for a short underneath the tiny little bar that retested a trend line not long ago. And just the only thing I'm not bearish, which is kind of weird, because I'm bullish the Aussie, but I'm also bullish Euro Aussie short term. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a buyer's point of view. But the setups are sitting there for me, and I'll be going through those in the US session very, very shortly.
Okay, mate. I'm ready. I'm ready to hear all about that actually, because I haven't looked at the Euro Aussie for in ages. That's a cross that I haven't looked in ages. But I'm pretty. Uh, I mean, if you're watching a buy zone or a buy setup develop there, I'm keen to hear about it.
I'll just give you a very, very brief look at it, okay?
All right, cool.
Because I know you've got to go. I'll give you a quick look. There it is, right there. And as you know, I'm a range aficionado, so I love trading ranges. And this one here has been forming for quite some time, and we keep bouncing off the bottom here. We've done so again at that about 162 level. So what I'm looking for here is potentially getting above those pivots and to the top of the range again, because it seems to like it in this area without any question, without a shadow of doubt. So I'm looking very much for that to bounce at the moment off the pivots, give me a lower. Well, it's certainly doing that. Give me a higher low in here somewhere based on these lows. So anytime now, I'm looking for this to bounce and go long again. I haven't got it set up right now. I've got to be frank, but when I see something here that interests me, like maybe I don't know, a bar that looks something like that, but standing on its own. I don't want it to be in a crowded room here, so to speak. So I want it to come down, price to come down, maybe challenge a level in here somewhere, something like that. Then give me a nice little rejection. The bar would probably just got to have a white body. I don't really care too much, but something like that would be interesting. Sorry, a black body. Something like that with a black body would be interesting. Something like that sitting down here, that would be interesting. So that's what I'm waiting for on Euro Aussie. Where I'm going to get it today or not's another story, and it may not surface its head. As I said, got a potentially dead US session coming up. But that's where I'm at. The little euro trade that I'm in at the moment, I'm trading underneath this bar here. So I'm just trading this bar, very, very quick one. I'll be getting out of this at the lows if I do get into it, and taking profit very, very quickly, of course, just before this low over here. So that's what I'm in at the moment, buddy. Looking for a euro short, and interestingly, that hopefully will coincide with a little bit of a dip down to here as well. Find this level, and then we can look to go long Euro Aussie.
Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. That euro short, that euro USD short. I've been looking to since we picked around the 120, right? I actually was looking at that 120 for a short opportunity, but I missed it. And I have been looking for ways to get in, but actually there hasn't been any setups for me, at least. But for a quick day trade, this looks quite interesting.
Yeah, look, it's just one of my little old false breaks that I play. The candle's not perfect, I've got to say, but if it were a decisive and bullish bar, I would definitely be scaling into this a little bit harder than I am. I'm only risking 0.25% on this because it is a little bit dangerous. It's only a very small candle. It's only 12 pips. And if we get 30 pips out of the trade, we'd be happy with it. But it's predicated on what I love to see. I love to see raising, 3 in a row false breaks, if you like, of a level. And that's what we're seeing here. 1, 2, 3. That to me is a key signal that we're going to break that consolidation to the short side. I don't know that we're going to go too far, but that is what I look for every single time when I've got a range break and it goes 1, 2, 3, false, false, false. Always looking for it to break to the short side. As I say, I'm not sure how far it can go, but if I can get into this and pick up a little bit on the way, then happy days. Again, it's only a little short,
exactly.
a little short-term trade, mate. That's it.
And what I'm looking at on the higher time frames, now that we're looking at the daily, is that move that we're in since July, since the end of July. To me, it looks very much like a reversal pattern if we manage to break with the previous lows, and that would bring a let me see, let me just quickly see that on my chart. That would bring us on a 50% retracement, I think, to the previous zone, to the 114 to 115 level. I know that's 1,000 pips, 100 pips. I'm sorry, but it looks very, very reversal, and we do have a very steep trend line going from mid-May to the current price levels, right?
Up here.
Yeah, exactly. That's very, very steep trend line that we might be retesting in the short term, and the base of that structure being retested at the moment too. If we manage to break with all of that, I think that we could have a 50 move to the downside, at least to retest the 115, right? The previous highs. That that line that you actually, that white line that you just draw there. So, so that's another thing that I'm looking for this week. Actually, a reversal on the euro versus the US dollar.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a bear, mate. Bit of a bear, the euro. I think on the euro dollar chart, if you go a little bit wider, that's showing us that we're at a resistance level again at this descending trend line.
I saw that on the monthly. I mean, very interesting, very, very interesting retest of that trend line. Even though I don't trade trend lines per se, but when it comes for such a long term structure being retested, I mean, I do keep my eye on that. And I mean, it could go either way, right? Because we are not out of the woods on the bullish move, in the sense that we are still printing higher lows.
Break or bounce, mate. Break or bounce.
Break or bounce, exactly that. Well,
I'll
mate,
go with the bounce for now. Let's see how we go.
I mean, I would love to. I would love it for it to bounce too, mate. Because that is my plan. I don't have a plan for a breakout. So if it breaks above, I won't be trading it, and I would definitely like to be to get some pips out of this move. But either way, I mean, it's a break or bounce, like you said. And right now, our time is up. Yeah, Jeff.
Absolutely, mate.
Your show starts in about 30 minutes, right?
No, in about 6 minutes.
In about 6 minutes. Okay, mate. So
just got time to go and make a cup of tea.
All right, mate. So I'll see you in 6 minutes, maybe. All right.
All right, mate.
Thank you for joining us, mate.
Pop in, say good day. Right, mate. Catch you later.
Cool.